Yo, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? Your boy IronAngel here, and yes, as you see, I'm wearing the Sub-Zero mask. If you saw, follow my Instagram, or I posted a little picture on my community page, showed that this is what I wore. To be real, this is all I wore at a Halloween party I went to. But I'm not the biggest dressed up person, but I did get this from Comic Con. I think it's sweet, belonging to the Lin Kuei. And yeah, also another reason I bought this is because for next year, I'm actually right now working on getting a full Sub-Zero suit. Like I'm going all in on this. And so I found this at Comic Con. I was like, I gotta pick it up while it's here, so I don't have to order it. So I was able to get this in Comic Con 2024. Your boy is going all in Quay. So follow me on Instagram. You can see right now my progress since I think I'm in day 95. Like I'm training body wise to get into Lin Kuei shape. I'm going all in. I'm going all in. So yeah, this is just the beginning of what's happening next year. So anyway, let me take this off. I ain't gonna front. I'm working on. Oh dang, messed up my hair and everything. I'm working on techniques on how to breathe with this thing. I'm getting better with it because there are a lot of holes in it. And like I put tissue right there because it's hard. This part is hard, so I don't have any problems with this anymore. But I'm working on slow breathing. Like I wore it throughout the whole party, which was pretty cool outside of when I was eating. But I wore this throughout the whole Halloween party, and it worked. It worked. I'm doing better at it when it comes to breathing techniques with it. Anyway, that is not what we're here for. But happy Halloween to y'all. Let me know in the comment section who you dressed up as. I've seen a lot of creative costumes out there. I love it. I like this holiday. The best part about it is watching horror movies. I like horror movies. And in the last few years, horror has been on the huge rise. Huge rise. And I'm loving every bit of it. A lot of great movies. Some I still haven't watched yet. Like I still want to see Talk to Me. Haven't seen The Exorcist. Five Nights at Freddy. I've never played the game, so it's not much hype there for me. Especially when I heard that it's more PG than R-rated horror. And so I'll see it eventually, but it's not, it's not on the list. But Talk to Me and Exorcist, I want to see that. Haven't seen that yet. And let me know about any other ones I might have not seen. Anyway, today, I put on a community page earlier saying which one should I watch, meaning horror movie. And I posted 5 answers, and y'all chose Resident Evil Death Island. Now, I've seen it before, but I was glad that y'all chose it because I wanted to refresh my memory. I like the Resident Evil franchise, movies and games. Well, when I say movies, I'm talking about animated movies. I ain't a fan of the live action ones. I don't understand with the previous ones that went. I can't remember how many movies that was, but I can't understand how they didn't go with just the original characters from the game. They did their own thing. Whatever, that series is over with, and then they just had another one that they basically rebooted. What was it, 2-3 years ago? That didn't do well. I personally believe they should just stick to these animated ones. They do them very well, and it looks real. I mean, it's animated, but I want to know the budget of these movies because graphics-wise, it looks very good. The details of the character, personally, I believe they should just go and make Resident Evil off of this here, like Death Island. So we're gonna talk about it a little bit spoiler free. If I want to share a little spoiler, I'll let you know beforehand. But want to let you know what my thoughts on it on this episode of Late Night Reviews. Which, by the way, thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, beautiful looking movie. Beautiful looking movie. I have no issues at all with the graphics. Like I said before, they should just make movies off of this. Stop with the live action. And I was telling my wife as I was watching this was one thing that these graphics show is Hollywood should definitely rethink some of the live action movies they make. What I mean is when you see certain movies, you can tell like it's hard, like it's very obvious that they use green screen. And I feel like if they don't have the budget to make these movies look more realistic, instead of it being so obvious that it's green screen, they should make it into these animated ones. I don't know what technology that is, but it works perfectly. The actors do a good job. The people with the technology do a good job. It brings it into a great movie like this one here. Now, first, a little overview. We able to get our Resident Evil heroes, Claire, Jill, Chris, Leon, Rebecca, all together in one movie, which is really cool. And they're taking a trip to Alcatraz, where there's a psycho villain who is spreading the disease, the virus, in a whole different way. But his plot, he's beating himself up over a certain situation that happened to him, and he's taking it out on the world. That's the quick overview without spoiling anything. But yes, our heroes do travel to Alcatraz to stop him. Leon is in a different situation than Chris, Rebecca, and Claire. I'm sorry, Jill. They all was in one mission together. Leon had his mission, and they wind up being together, which was really good, really cool. The main character of this movie, though, I will say is Jill, and I love Jill in this movie. Jill was always, between Jill and Leon, they're my favorite. They've always been my favorite in this franchise, game and movies. And to me personally, they don't disappoint, especially Jill. Jill's the standout, which you can kind of expect when you see the cover of the movie. You can tell Jill is in the forefront. Let me go with the characters right now, since I already talked about Jill. Leon, like I said, he didn't disappoint either. I will say, though, and I understand why, but I will say that Chris, Leon, and Claire really took a back seat. Not really, but you could tell they took a back seat in this movie. They were in it, but the stuff you would usually see Chris do with his, the action scenes or his toughness, he took a back seat in a way where, not in a bad way, but in a way where you could tell he's getting older in this journey. Like that, you could tell he was in this journey for a while, and it showed with, how should I explain it? He had good moments. Like when I say he took a backseat, I don't want to put it in a way where he had no effect in the movie. No, I'm not saying that at all. But it really seemed like there's a situation that happens in the movie that makes Chris sit back and let Jill or another individual take over. And it made Chris if you've seen the previous Resident Evil, which is that's the name, Vendetta. Resident Evil Vendetta. If you saw that movie and you saw this one, you could see the age of Chris. That's the way I should put it. Not really he took a back seat, but you could see the age, the stiffness of the character, I'm getting too old for this attitude of Chris. Like he's going to do his job, and that is a conversation him and Jill has where you could tell he's accepted his role. But you can also see it wearing down. So I'm gonna take that back. I don't want to say he took a back seat. You just could tell the wear and tear of Chris in this movie. You could tell he's been through a lot. He's not that Chris that you see in Village. That cool, tough, like that older version of Chris and this version of Chris is two different older versions of the character. So, and I kind of respect it when I think about it. At first, I was like, I don't like how. Especially coming fresh off of watching Vendetta than watching Death Island. At first, I wasn't a fan of it, but now I'm thinking about it, that's cool character art because he wasn't a pushover. Let me make that clear. That's why don't know if I want to say a backseat because he wasn't a pushover, but compared to the other characters, like when you see Claire, when you see Jill, when you see Leon, you could tell Chris was the old head. You could tell Chris held his own, but it wasn't Vendetta Chris. Or even the previous ones before that. And so I respect that, though. That's character art, and, it still worked for the movie. Now, Claire is always good, in my opinion. Claire has never, in my opinion, in this movie, was always a good character to me, but didn't stand out in the way that Jill or Chris or Leon does. She fit. Like Resident Evil 2 and all that. Like, she has great moments, but I believe the role they have for Claire works, and I believe they stick to it, and it works. She doesn't need to go overboard. She never needs to pull back. It's just Claire the way you know her. I believe, in my opinion, she's the same way in this movie, and it works. Like I said, it works. There's no problem. Now, my two favorite. Oh, and Rebecca's in this movie. Rebecca is a smaller role, but she was good. Now, I know Rebecca was short, but it was because she's had a short role in this movie. And if I say anything, it's going to spoil the movie. But my favorite was Jill and Leon. And small spoiler, there's a scene where Jill and Leon are together. Not romantically. I'm talking about in a mission together. And that was my favorite part of the movie. Any part where it had them two in it was my favorite. You could say yes because of fandom, because I love them both. but also the situation worked. And personally, this is a thing for me personally. I would love for a movie, another Resident Evil movie with them two, where it's just them two. Yeah, I mean you can have the other ones if you want, but I want more focus on Leon and Jill. It wasn't enough for this movie, in my opinion. I wanted more. I wanted more, and yeah, I would love to see Jill and Leon in the movie. They don't have to be all romantic. If they want to, that's fine. But when I say that they're cool, like you can have a role with a male and female without always being romantic. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about their chemistry, how dedicated they are with their skill set, which I love. It's yeah, the movies make them look really good, and the games. So yeah, characters, it was good. One thing that I do have a problem with that's a flaw is not with nothing with them characters. It's the side characters. And let me go with the good guys first. There's, without spoiling, and it's not just them. Other movies have this issue that I just wish they changed. Some movies they show respect to them, but a lot of them they don't. It's the soldiers. There's a situation. Let me put it this way. There's a situation, small spoiler, where these soldiers who had nothing to do with this mission was called to help them with help Rebecca with a certain situation. And literally 5 minutes into their situation, they're all dead. And they made these guys look like they're a big deal. And it's something that I don't, just because they're side characters though. Oh, well, that's not even the worst part. The worst part was it seemed like the main characters didn't care. It was just like, oh, okay, just keep it moving. Oh, they died. That's it. It was like, these guys got out of their couch to help you with a mission that had nothing to do with them. And they're dead. That's it. Like, no, like the end of the movie, you have no like respect to the soldiers or nothing. And maybe I have a soft spot for those side characters, like soldiers, cops, whatever, whoever's the side character. I have a soft spot for them because they're the sacrifice for the main character to live, and at least show emotion. I'm not saying everybody needs to live, but at least show emotion. Scream no or something when like I don't know, something that shows okay, these guys got out of their way, left their families to help you. You could at least show some respect. But no, they die in 5 minutes. And you saw one of the guys was a little older head, so he lived a life and can't relax, and he did, and that's it. It was like, oh, and it literally went to the next scene. It was like, okay, I guess that's it. I wish, that's something I've always had a problem with, and not just this, but any film or TV show that has side characters like that. Give them more respect. No, that's just my opinion. Anyway, now when it comes to the villain was very mid, in my opinion. Very mid. Okay, there's a certain villain who came from Vendetta. Her part in it was okay as well. It was understandable why she was in here, but let me talk about the main villain. He had a sad past. His delivery with it though in this present time was very annoying. He dragged some parts in this movie too long. He reminds me of a guy who just wants you to sit around and listen to him talk all day. It's like, bro, there was a moment where Jill had a gun pointed at him, spoiler alert, little spoiler. And I'm sitting here in my mind thinking, Jill, can you please pull the trigger and shut him up? It's like, please shut him up, Jill. Please shut him up. Shoot him in the arms. Do something. Like, this dude, it's like he loved to hear himself talk. And even, I'm so glad Jill said it about, she's told him to get over it. And it's like, yes, like his situation was bad. I ain't going front. But in that universe, a lot of people's situations are bad. So, and you can have people feel for you, but when when this is your reason to terrorize the world, and then you're sitting here having a pity party and having these long speeches, us feeling bad for you starts to shrink. So, the villain was very mid. The highlight of the whole movie was the fact that all the heroes, Leon, Jill, Chris, Claire, Rebecca, they all in one movie. That was the best part of the movie. The action was good, and I always look forward when it comes to Resident Evil, the action. I always look forward to it. It was not better than Vendetta, though. Vendetta had probably the best action scene of all Resident Evil history, from my remembrance. Maybe I gotta go back and watch a few other ones, but live action and video game, and animated, Vendetta, I believe, had the best. It's the scene with Chris and Leon. And that's the best action scene, I believe. None of the action scenes in this one topped it, but it doesn't mean it was bad. It was good for what it was. Now, since we're in the Halloween, today's Halloween, when it comes to horror, it's not, and I don't think this is just me. Resident Evil never, besides Biohazard, Resident Evil 7, I believe that was, the video game, none of them had a horror feel to me. Yes, it is meant to be a survival horror game, survival horror movie, etc. But for me, it never had it didn't have a lot of the horror feel to it. It had a little bit, but just because it's dark with some monsters, I didn't truly think it was considered horror. And then I played Resident, I think it's 7, where you're in the house with the family. That was horror. That was scary. Even for me, it takes a lot for me to be scared. So maybe it's tough for me to judge this movie when it comes to horror because it takes a lot. There's a lot of horror movies I can watch and it doesn't affect me whatsoever. Jump scares are jump scares. You'll jump a little bit, but I don't be sitting there. That's not me. So, but when it comes to this movie, it had horror monsters. And actually, there's a scene in the beginning that has a little bit of horror in it. But it was more of an action movie than a horror movie. Which, when you think of Resident Evil, it does tally the line of both. But, yeah, it wasn't nothing, I would say, if you have an issue with being scared. I don't think there's anything in this movie, like I said, besides a little scene, it's very little in the beginning with Jill, that will make you be putting the covers over your eyes. So, it is titled a horror action movie. So take that how you want to from someone who doesn't get scared a lot. I know a lot of other things that would be scarier than this. I'll put it that way. It was more for the action, the story, and like I said, the highlight was to have them together. I believe that was the highlight. So for that, I won't make this review too long, but the movie was enjoyable outside of the mid-villain and his annoying conversations because he had too much. I was like, okay, they're really trying to force you to feel for this guy. And I'm like, okay, he had him his setup was good when it comes to showing his past, when they were showing his past and going back to the past and future, present, that was fine, but they was dragging that with his conversations, and it was like, can y'all do something to this guy, But like I said, it doesn't take away from the movie. But yeah, anyway, very enjoyable movie. I would say graphically and character wise, it was the best. Action, I still say Vendetta had the best. Horror, I don't know. When it comes to the whole franchise, not just movies, but video games, I still believe Biohazard. If you want that movie/video game feel and you want to be scared just from walking in a house, is definitely, I think it's Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I think that's the whole title of it. But being in that house with that family, that's horror. It is because the setup of that was very good. I don't even think Village was scary to me. There was some creepy stuff, but creepy don't mean scary, in my opinion. But anyway, that's my review, my late night review. Let me know in the comment section, who did you get? Who did you dress up as if you did it all? Some of y'all might not even be into it. And again, I'm building up towards Comic-Con 2024. So definitely follow me on Instagram. Watch my progress on there. Pretty soon, I'm going to be having my suit. After I get my body the way I want it to be, I'm going to get tailored to get my suit ready. And I'm going all in. I'm not pushing it, but I would love to have 2 different suits. I want to go as a Lin Kuei, then another one as a full, like a Saiyan suit. But we'll see. I'm not pushing it. We could maybe do 1 a year. But anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Be safe out there. Enjoy your candy. Brush your teeth so you don't get rotten teeth. But anyway, have a good time, y'all. Be safe out there, though. All right, talk to you later.